Good morning, Hoosier Hares and Homestead here. My name is Mark. It is 3 degrees. Don't let the sun fool you. 3 degrees. Really not any wind, just a slight breeze. So it's I don't even think it's below zero wind chill. But I'm gonna take you in and show you my week-old kits. So a week ago, which would be New Year's Eve, had 6 kits born, and just going to give you a quick video update on their status. They're all doing really good, even with this severe cold that we're having. And so I'll turn the camera on and show you some pictures. Alright, now these are 1 week old kits. I haven't pulled this fur and straw back. It is very warm in here. These guys are doing pretty good. They are starting to get their color, their fur. It's hard to do this one-handed. Got some black ones in there, a couple blacks. Got 4 whites. Doing really good. Staying down in that fur. So about another week or so, I'll clean this out, pull the fur out, save it, clean out the straw and everything, put fresh straw in, put them all back in, and that way when they start hopping out of here and have their eyes open, everything's nice and clean for them. It's cold out. And I got one glove on, one glove off. Sorry about that. I think I'm about out of fuel. This pipe is quickly becoming a favorite. Smoking some black raspberry blend, bulk blend from the tobacconist, and I don't know enough about the tobaccos to tell you what kind it is, but it's black raspberry. Picked it up at Carmack's pipe and cigar shop in Noblesville when I was down in central, I guess that's central Indiana. It's south of us a ways. Tastes pretty good. Today is January 7th. It's an important day for Cambodia. Wish I was there. It's a lot warmer. January 7th is the day that Phnom Penh, the capital city, was freed from the Khmer Rouge oppressors, effectively ending the genocide in the mid-70s. It's cold out here. Some of the most sobering places I have been has been in Cambodia. The killing fields, the Genocide Museum, unbelievable atrocities that humans performed on fellow beings. But the Khmer people are very strong, and so my thoughts are with my friends that are still there in Cambodia, both Khmer people and expats. It's a day of remembrance coming to a close right now. They're about 12 hours ahead of us. People do amazing things to one another. I don't understand it. Fort Lauderdale yesterday. I've said this before. I think I had a video about situational awareness. And you have to keep your head on a swivel. There is no safe place in this world anymore. And I'm no security expert, but I've been in some tight spaces, some tight situations. You got to know what's going on around you. You got to know what you're going to do if something happens. And you need to have a way of executing the plan. In the States, if you're able to, I would carry a concealed firearm if you're trained to handle it. But you don't need a firearm to be situationally aware. And you don't need a firearm to execute a plan of attack against a threat. But thoughts and prayers with the families of those folks that were executed yesterday in the airport. It's the way of the world right now, I guess. Anyways, got to put my hand back in my pocket. It's freezing. 3 degrees. Spitting snow. And I'm sitting outside in my grape arbor. It's a good little pipe. I might have to go get another one. Pardon me if my nose is running. I don't feel this part of my face. I'll tell you a quick story. I'll tell you why. I was working in a factory that had a roll former in it. Real easy way to describe a roll former. Hang on one second. I gotta put my other glove on. Thanks. This roll former would take a coil of steel and he'd run it down through a series of tools, and each little series of tools would bend that steel just a little bit, roll form it as it was going through the rollers. And then it would come out a press on the other end, and it would get cropped to length, and you'd have a product. Whether it was, now this was for agricultural company, so it'd be like a feed trough on a chicken layer cage, and other things, grain bin stiffeners, feed bin legs. But I was training on a second shift, and you'd run one coil of steel through, and then you would use a TIG welder and weld the next coil on. So the process was you go get the crane, pardon me, and hoist up your steel onto the can't remember what it's called now, mandrel. Put it on there. Of course, the coil, it's all banded up with metal banding, and you cut the banding. You put a snubber arm down on the coil to keep the wrap from spinning off. It's under a lot of pressure. And cut your banding, run it through the welder, weld it, and you keep going. Then you'd have one scrap piece there with that weld. Well, I was cutting the band, the last band, on a coil of 10 gauge steel. To this day, I don't know what happened exactly, but the wrap came up and caught me right here and opened up my face. I've never been hit so hard in my life. I've been in some scrapes. I've never been hit so hard in my life. I thought I lost my eye. I naturally just put my hands up over my face. I was working with a fella who was training me. And I didn't want him to freak out, so I turned and I took my hands away. I said, "I'm okay." And his eyes got as big as around his plates. I knew right then I was hurting. Hang on a second. Sorry for the camera moving around. He took off running. He left me there. He took off running, and I was like, "Oh crap, something's bad," And I had my hand up over my nose. I thought I broke my nose, lost an eye. And I thought, for crying out loud, what's going on? I got all, and this is kind of graphic, I guess, but if you have an uneasy stomach, you might want to just pause the video. I gave you enough time there. So I had my hand up on my face, and there's blood just pouring out over the top of my hand. And I was like, what in the heck is going on? And I'm walking up. The machine is maybe 150 feet long. I'm walking up to the control panel by the cropping press, and I thought, man, I gotta sit down. Turns out I opened up from the tip of my nose up here to my eyebrow, and ended up, they stitched me all up. I was all right. I went into the urgent care because I'm on second shift, right? And the guy took me in, EMT or whatever, from the factory, and went in there, and they said, "Well, take a seat out in the waiting room." And I was like, "Holy crap! That means there's somebody that's worse off than me in this." Anyway, though, got back there, they stitched me up. I went back to the shop. I ended up going home for the night. Looked like Frankenstein, all swolled up, stitches. I called my wife. I said, "Hey, I got good news and bad news." The good news is I'm coming home early. Bad news is I look like Frankenstein. Since then, I don't have much feeling in my nose. Winter's bad. My nose will run. I don't know it. People around me that know me, they'll tell me, say, "Hey, clear up your nose." People that don't, they just stare or look away, and I figure it out. So I apologize if I got some extra bodily fluids dripping out of my nose. I don't want to be impolite. Anyways, My hand holding this phone is freezing. So I might go back into the garage and finish this. Although it's not much warmer in the garage. But anyways, wanted to give you an update on my rabbits. Had somebody ask me about them. Are they doing okay in the cold? And as long as they're out of the wind and they stay dry, they're fine. They're fine. They're doing really good. Getting fat. Getting fat. That's what we want. I hope everything's going well for you guys. Appreciate the new subs. Appreciate the new friends that I'm meeting through the pipe community. Appreciate the old friends I have through the homesteading community, or whatever brings you to this channel. Appreciate that. You guys give me a thumbs up. That's important. If you would, please. Leave a comment. If you got any questions, tips, or advice, hope whatever you're working on is going well. Hope you're doing it your way. God bless.